Alrighty, you can see there's a box of brownies, and I'm gonna make them, and I'm gonna record it. I'm gonna record making the brownies. I'm gonna record the oven and stove and show you that a little bit. Here's our microwave, but the fuse is broken, so we just have random stuff in here. This is the microwave we use. But this is the Maytag oven, and I think the stove and all that is Maytag. Let's see here, yeah. So, it's actually really nice. It's kind of dirty, I don't mind that, but it's a really good oven and stove. It's got this here, the upper oven, and then it's got the lower oven. This is the one I'm probably gonna use, and Lexi's sniffing it, but I don't want her face to get smashed, so I'm trying to Lexi, get out of it. You can see the little knobs there, and then all that stuff. So I'll go ahead and start making the brownies. So if you look at it, it basically shows you how to make it. 2 large eggs, 3 tablespoons of water, and then 2 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil. I have canola oil, whatever it's called, canola oil, and I have vegetable oil, but it's the spray. Okay, that's the cooking spray. So I'm gonna put on the pan, then we're gonna preheat the oven to 325. If I can talk, that'd be nice. But yeah, 325. Bottom of pan with Pam. I hope it doesn't mind that I'm using vegetable oil, because I don't think we have Pam. I got these from my mom's house earlier. Obviously, we'll stir them. We'll put them in the pan and all that stuff. And it shows the time. So I'll figure out what kind of pan we have. Honestly, not those pans. We're not going to be using these pans. So I'll take that out. Don't mind the mess. But this is what we have. So we used to have this one pan. I don't know if we still have it. It's a mess in there. But we had it already had the brownie cut out. And it was really handy, but I'm just gonna cut them out and eat them all. Like, they're not for anybody. I'm just making them for me. But that pan, I think, is the one we use for them. Or, not, that's what we use for green bean casserole, but there's another pan somewhere in here, which I'll get to. Anyways, I'll pause the video and we'll get to that. Alrighty, here's the pan I'm gonna be using. It's a 13 x 9 or 13 by 9 inch pan, and it's said to preheat the oven to 325, so I'm going to do that. So I don't use it very much. Lower oven, bake. I'm going to put it to 325, and then start. I think that's how you do it. So yeah, it's on. Yeah, so it's preheating right now, and it should get warm in here. Right now it's not warm, but that's the lower oven. Upper oven should be fine. I don't think it's going to do anything. You can see that shows that. So now I'm going to get the stuff ready. Alright, you can see it's at 110. It's still heating up, and we'll go to 325. I've got a pan right here. I'm about to spray it with this. Here's the brownie mix, and I'm gonna pour it in this bowl here. I've also got the 2 eggs, and we'll need 3 tablespoons of water, and then 2/3, so 2 of these of the vegetable oil over here. So it's at 135. Alrighty, there's the brownie mix. So there's an egg. I've got 1 egg in there so far. One thing I wanted to mention about eggs. So we've been doing hard-boiled eggs, but if you have eggs and they all look the same, you don't know which ones are hard-boiled and which ones are regular. If you spin it, it spins slow like that, it's regular. It's not hard-boiled, but if it spins super fast, then it's hard-boiled. The oven's at 295. We got the 2 eggs. Now we're gonna pour this on the table in the 2/3 cup. Alright, it just made it to 325. So I still have to stir this, but there's the whatever you want to call it, the eggs and the canola oil. Alrighty, I got the 3 tablespoons of water. Now we're gonna stir. I figured the best way to stir it would be with a fork. Kind of just get that going. Because the bowl's pretty full, I don't want to go too fast. We'll get that all stirred up. And then you don't want to eat this raw. It's not healthy and it can get you sick. Just because of the, the raw eggs. And other stuff probably. I don't know what. Let me just get this stirred until all the brownie batter is looking like chocolate mud, I guess, if you will, and not like dirt. But just don't think of it like that. The oven's still at 325, so it's what the temperature needs to be at. Usually you'll want to do this with 2 hands. And, you can see it's mostly good, but you want to get the edges too, so I'll get the edges and make sure all those there's no remaining, and you want to get the bottom, which is no remaining brownie dust, if you will. And make sure there's no more powder. And it's all like a batter, and I'm gonna finish stirring this. Alrighty, I've stirred it, and once you got it looking like a pudding like this, you can go ahead and pour it in the pan here, and then you can pour it or put it in the oven. I already got it sprayed. It's at whatever it's at, and then the cook time, since it's a 9 by 13 inch pan, we're gonna cook it from 24 to 27 minutes. I'm gonna do 24 because this oven cooks fast. So I'm gonna pour it in there. You don't want to get most of it in here as you can. That's why I have a spoon now. Once you get it in there, you want to get it flat and all towards the edges. Alrighty, and then once you have it all evened out just about, you'll want to put it in the oven. And then we'll start it, so we'll do that. Give me 1 second. Open it. Put it in. And then we'll start it. Kitchen timer. You could use the kitchen timer, or you could use, one on your phone nowadays. I'm gonna use the kitchen timer for 24 minutes, and then just hit every stove is different, but just hit the kitchen timer, and it will start counting down. Because it did say 24 to 27 minutes for this size pan. So now we'll just wait. It'll be in here cooking. So yep, they're in the oven right now. I got the dishes rinsed off somewhat, and once I gets later and got all the dishes collected, I'll put them here, and then when this gets full, I'll start it. But they're all dirty right now. It's got 21 minutes, and let's see how they look real quick. They probably don't look too much different. And then one thing I wanted to show you, I don't know if I've made a YouTube video about this yet, but I got these floor plans printed out of the house. And ignore this one for now, that's the sprinkler system, when it was designed. This is the house now. I basically have this legend, and I have other floor plans too of other places, but it's kind of hard to see on paper, but basically I'm standing right here. That's the counter, which is this. Whoops. All of this here, which is messy. But yeah, and there's the bedrooms, bathroom, office, garage, laundry room, living room, which is there, and then the dining room, kitchen, just here and there. The red dots, like those, are the smoke alarms. And that one's also a smoke alarm, but it's a newer one that I replaced. That one's a smoke alarm. This seal, and smoke alarm. These are lights. Lexi's chasing her tail. You know, that's the ceiling fan. Those are the air vents. They're green, but they might look different. I turned on the living room light there with the fan, so maybe you can see it better. But there's the intake vent there, which is basically over there. And then there's one there and one there. And then that's the thermostat, the purple T. Pantry, you know, the lights, and the brown things are outlets. And then the dark orange are the switches. And, you know, the outdoor lights, cameras, switches. There's some switches have a C next to them, and there's the companion switches that do 2 switches for 1 light. Like there's the basement, that one, and that one, and one downstairs does this light. This one and this one here does that light. So kind of see that there's a sprinkler timer in the garage, electric meter, gas meter, all that stuff. And then the sprinklers, which this is kind of whenever the house was built in '97. You know, there was, you know, all of our side yard was here. There was no rocks and whatever. And then this was the only patio we had. There was nothing here like there is now. Like now it goes to here, but right at that time it wasn't. And also the valve box was here in the garden against the house. It wasn't here, and there was no fence, because the fence goes from about here across and then also across here. But when it was put in, it wasn't like that. So I got, you know, the main line and all that, going to all the zones and all the valves, and then there's the air conditioner there. Kind of basically that. And then I have the sprinklers. So that's basically how it was. And then I have the basement, but this is if it were finished. This part and this part and this part is finished. This is all here, but it's like one room. And, you know, there's a vent there's a vent there, all the lights and light. But the smoke alarms here and here don't exist. But this is if it were finished, there'd be a smoke alarm here, 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 and here. But the only one we have is this one. And, you know, that's the downstairs. And then there's the guest bedroom. And then the utility room. And then this bedroom's finished, but there's no smoke alarm in there. And then, you know, there'd be a vent here if it was finished. And there'd be a bathroom here. But other than that, it's pretty much like that. That's the water shut off, intake vent, air vent that's on the ceiling. That's the thermostat for the fireplace, which is here. And these outlets. And then this one here is a duplex outlet. It's like the quad outlet. So the double quad or whatever, I don't know. But instead of having like 2 sockets where you plug it in, there's 4 like this. So I'll show you an example at some point, but instead of 1 like that, it's got 4 plugins instead of 2 plugins. So that's what that one is. And the furnace and water heater. That's how that would be, but it's, you know, not exactly like that. But this part's accurate here. And then yeah, that's the here's the legend on the back, a little bigger. You see, some of the light bulbs are smaller ones, some of them are bigger. The light strand, which is basically that one there. Let's check on the oven real quick. 16 minutes. Let's see how it looks. Looking good, looking good. I wonder if they're almost ready. I'm actually gonna check and see if they're almost ready. So just by smelling them, I just pulled them out. They smell like they're done, but they're not done. As you can see, it's still goopy, like that. You can see that. You want to be able to put the toothpick in and have it come out clean. So we'll go ahead and put that back in. Alrighty, I got it back in here. But as I was saying about the map and the legend, it's basically kind of what I created on this website called Smart Draw. Super good website. I have some of my mom's house. I might reprint some of these. I have some of my old house. Still working on other ones. But it's pretty fun. It's pretty good. Plus I like making maps anyways. But yeah, basically I'm standing right here, and then You see the door there, and then it is right there, and you can see that vent down there. It's basically that vent right there. So it's pretty cool. There's Lexi, and I think the heat just turned on. Yeah, it's at 67 degrees and it's 66 in here. The house does smell like brownies now. You can smell it, especially since I took them out, but it's got about 13 minutes left. And so this is a good oven and good stove. I don't use it all the time. I usually just go to McDonald's or whatever, but it's got stuff on here, but because my dad puts like a towel with like all these things here, he puts them on the stove because the counter's full here. But other than that, I'll pull them off and use it here and there. I just noticed little little oval like vent things there. I think they shoot out the smell here and there of the oven, like what it's baking. I don't know for sure, but it smells like it. And I can feel hot air coming out of them. And then it turns on, and you can feel the heat coming out of it. And it smells just like the brownies. Because there is a fan in there somewhere. But you can see there's a little, I don't even know. But maybe some houses or some stoves have like an oven hood or something that go out to the ceiling or something. I don't think this one has one because you don't see it going out to the ceiling. You can see the ceiling or out to the roof. You can see but I don't know. But I think that's why it comes out these instead. But yeah. You can see Lexi's right here and I'm right here. They say having a dog, you know, I like to say this little phrase: cooking in the kitchen is not complete without a golden retriever by your feet. I just think it's funny, and you know, dogs, they like to lay by you anyways, but even especially when you're cooking, she just likes to lay right there. So there's 7 minutes left. We'll check them real quick. Okay. They look more done. I'm gonna take them out real quick and double check. Okay, I just took them out. I'll stick a toothpick in there. See how it's still coming out with stuff on it. It's not done yet. Now you could eat it like this. I like them like this. And I'm probably going to eat them like this. But just so you can see how it's all sticky. Especially when they cool. You know, it'll be super good. I've always liked them a little extra goopy. Some people like them done. But this is how I'm gonna have them. And especially when it cools, it'll be even cooler and more goopy. Not goopy, but super soft. So 6 minutes left, but I'm gonna turn it off. So we'll turn that off. And then turn that off. Let's see here. Not that one. It's probably which one is it? Lower cancel. Now it should turn off. And it should cool down in there. So, yeah. Let that cool. You'll want to let it cool. And once it gets cool, you can cut them up or do whatever. And yeah. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.